And just like that, we are back in New York. What's going on, folks? My name is Spice. This is Spice Can't Fish. For those of y'all who don't know, I was actually a fishing counselor at a little summer camp in Western Massachusetts. Absolutely loved being a fishing counselor, but I had to take care of a bunch of 13-year-olds as part of the job duties, and I couldn't end up doing it. I don't know what the deal was. I think I underestimated how hard it was to take care of like 40 13-year-olds. And so after about a month, we're back here in New York. I only got to film one video while I was up in Massachusetts. I was supposed to meet up with a couple of people, but unfortunately that never ended up happening. But yeah, we're back in New York, and I figure we may as well start out the send back in New York with a couple of challenge videos. I feel like I've been talking about doing a bunch of challenge style videos for a while now, but for whatever reason just haven't gotten to pull the trigger and ended up trying to do any of them. So I figured, screw it, we're just going to start doing some challenge videos. We're going to try and film a bunch of them within the next couple of days. I got this one, then I got a few more that I have lined up that hopefully we'll be able to get done in the next few days. But this first challenge video is actually going to be a video that one of you guys suggested. I don't remember exactly who it was, but someone commented on one of my videos that I should do like a fluke fishing video. So I figured we'd make it into somewhat of a challenge, somewhat of a comparison style video. And I'm also going to try and give you guys some tips and tricks as to how I like to throw a fluke, when I like to throw a fluke, what I'm kind of looking for in a fluke style bait. So yeah, like I said, we got 4 different styles of flukes that we're going to be starting off with, kind of comparing and contrasting to one another. Obviously, we got the old Zoom Super Fluke. This is the Arkansas Shiner color, one of my personal favorite colors and one of my personal favorite fluke style baits. Then we got these Yum Houdini shads, which are very similar to the Super Flukes, but just have a little bit of a different tail design, a little bit of a different style to that tail. That's in the Camo Pro color. I've also thrown these around quite a bit. Then we've got these Kalin's 5-inch jerk minnows, which again, very similar to the Zoom Super Fluke. This is the Arkansas shad color, so very similar to that Arkansas Shiner that we have up there. And then I also got a pack of the Googan baits darts. These are the 5-inch size, the natural color. So again, very similar to that Arkansas Shiner color. Never thrown the darts before today, so we're going to see if we can get bit on one of those. And then if we can get bit on all 4 of those, we also have these absolutely massive style flukes. These are the big bite baits. I don't remember exactly what they call these, but these things are huge. Look at this compared to like a normal 5-inch fluke. Like, that is a massive, massive fluke. I don't know if we're going to get bit on this today, but I figure we may as well try it. Again, if we can catch fish on all 4 of these, kind of compare and contrast them, then figure we may as well upsize a little bit, see if we can get a little bit bigger bite. So yeah, like I said, we're going to be comparing a bunch of different flukes today. We got 4 normal size flukes and then an absolute giant fluke that we're going to be fishing towards the end of the video. But yeah, the goal is going to be try and catch 1 fish on each of those baits, kind of compare and contrast them a little bit, tell you what I like about them, what I don't like about them, the similarities, the differences. So yeah, hopefully it should be a pretty good video for you guys, but I'm going to shut up, get on down to the pond, because I only got a little bit of time before the sun goes down today. And yeah, like I said, this is kind of like a tips and tricks mixed with a comparison style video, mixed with a challenge video, kind of all rolled up into one, so should be a pretty solid video for you guys. And yeah, we're going to see what we can do with all these flukes today. Hopefully you guys enjoy.
Alrighty folks, let's get after it. Only got a couple hours until the sun goes down. It's been pouring rain all day, so it wasn't really in the biggest rush to get out here, but the rain is, at least for the moment, holding off, and I figured this is a perfect time to go head on down to this little pond and try and film this fluke fishing video for you guys. And yeah, we're gonna see what happens. I don't know how long this video is gonna take for me to film, but we're gonna get started. Hopefully maybe pop a couple out of this little pond, which I've fished once before. I did actually catch a fish out of it, so I do know there are fish in here. But we're going to see if we can get lucky with a couple of them today. So my little bag of goodies right here, we got all 5 packs of the flukes. I think it's only right that we start out with the OG, the industry standard, the Zoom Super Fluke. This is the Arkansas Shiner color, one of my personal favorite colors. I'm sure you guys didn't hear a damn thing that I said, but we're going to start off with the Zoom Super Fluke, the old Arkansas Shiner, one of my favorite colors. I just saw something spook off of this little branch right over here, so it's definitely a good sign. I know this pond looks relatively like clear and scum free right now, or vegetation free, but there's actually a ton of vegetation that's just below the surface. You guys probably can't see it because of the glare and all that stuff, but there's a ton of vegetation here, so I think a fluke is probably going to be a pretty good option for us out here today. By the way, I don't know if you guys noticed, but this rod might look a little familiar to you guys. I got myself another one. So if you guys saw my Florida fishing video, I actually went out to Florida, caught my personal best, just under 7 pounds. If you guys want to go check that video out, I'll leave it linked down below for y'all. But yeah, I did it on this rod, not this exact one obviously, but it was an Ozark Trail 7-foot medium heavy. And yeah, I bought it from the local Walmart down there when we flew in, fished with it for a couple of days, and smacked my personal best on it. And then we unfortunately had to give it away, or I had to give it away once I left, just because, well, there wasn't really any way for me to take it with me on the plane. But while I was up in Massachusetts, I actually just walked over into the fishing section just to look around, and lo and behold, I saw that they had this rod in stock. And I grabbed the last 7-foot medium heavy, which is the same rating as the one that I was using down in Florida. So we finally got another one back, baby. I'm super stoked. I'm gonna try my best to break this thing in today, pop a couple of fish on it, and see if we can get ourselves a good one as well. That'd be pretty sick. Catch a nice little 3-pounder or something straight off the bat with a brand new rod. But yeah, I guess I can. Ooh, nice. I almost went in the trait, but I guess I can kind of explain why I like a fluke, because this is supposed to be kind of like an informational style video. So I'm gonna kind of do a little bit of talking just to pass the time, and kind of explain to you guys why I like a fluke, and when I would use it and how and all that jazz. So I like a fluke because I feel like a lot of people don't really throw them all too often. I'm not sure what the reasoning behind that is. They're a great bait. They get bit obviously pretty much all the way from summer, or all the way from spring I should say, all the way through summer, and then well into the post spawn in the fall time. And if you're in an area where a lot of people throw a Texas rig Senko, they're a fantastic alternative. It's a little bit of a different profile, looks a little bit more like a bluegill or a shad or any sort of small bait fish. And yeah, you can more or less fish them in 3 different ways, I guess. You can fish them like a Senko, just pop them up and they just kind of like glide back down. That's probably my go-to way, just because it's super simple. Again, it's the exact same way that you would fish a Senko, so not super difficult. But oh, I just had one right there. Okay. First bite on the fluke of the day. I was chit-chatting. I got cracked right there. Didn't get the hook for whatever reason, but throw back in there and see if we can get him again. So this is actually another way that I really like to fish the fluke, where you just kind of twitch it like a jerkbait. You just kind of pop, pause, and then it'll have kind of a similar action to like how you would normally fish a Senko, but a little bit more jerky. Again, these flukes are kind of like soft plastic jerkbaits. That's what they're considered. So you can fish them just like a jerkbait. I usually let mine pause for like 2 to 3 seconds, whether I'm popping it like this or jerking it like a jerkbait. I'll usually let it sit for like 2 to 3 seconds if I'm fishing over fairly shallow stuff. And yeah, that's generally where I'll fish it, is also pretty shallow. I don't really like to throw a fluke super deep just because, oh, there we go. Oh, that's a nice one. Oh, good fish. Hell yeah, dude. Oh, stay out of the tree, bro. Yeah, go right. Oh, that's a good one, dude. Hell yeah, first one on the fluke. Let's go. He's down in the grass over here. Stay out of that grass, bro. Stay on there. Oh, that's a nice one. Oh my god. Holy shit. Alrighty. Little 2.5 pound guy to start the old fluke challenge off. I like that. Oh, alrighty. Homie absolutely cracked that Zoom Super Fluke. I like to see that. That's a real pretty fish. The last time I was out here, I got bit by a little tiny one, and I was talking to some dude on the bank, and he was telling me that this spot actually used to be really good, but it got infested, I should say, with a bunch of like really heavy vegetation, and it kind of killed off a lot of the oxygen in here. How you doing? Hey, good. How are you?
Nice one.
Oh, thanks. Nice. All right. It's a decent fish. Little 2-pounder or so. Nice little dark looking bass. Okay. I'm putting you back. Have a good one. Later, bro. You find your way out of the muck? Yeah. Nice. Hell yeah. Oh, he was down here at my feet for a second. He's over there. He's gone. Deal. Alrighty, first fish on the fluke. Absolutely destroyed this thing. That is one of the things that I'm not a huge fan about these super fluke saws. You'll blow that head out of them real quick. So unfortunately, they don't really last super long. You can usually only get like 1, maybe 2 fish out of them, 3 if you're super lucky, but they're pretty soft baits. But that's totally okay, because we're actually going to switch up to our next one. I don't know which one I'm feeling next. We're going to do Kalin's or Young. Kalin's or Young. I'm going to throw them on the ground. Whichever one's up, face up, I'm going to use. Looks like Yum. Sweet, that actually worked out. Thought I was going to have to do that like 3 or 4 times for it to work out, but ended up working on the first one, like that. So these are the Houdini shads. They're a little bit different than like your normal Fluke. The one main difference that they have is just this weird looking tail. It's almost like a spade tail or like a beaver style tail, but really interesting. What color is this? I really like this color. It is camo pearl. Sweet, never seen that color before, but picked it up for this challenge and looks pretty good. I think we'll be able to catch one on it pretty quick. Good to go with the old camo pearl. Let's see if this color works. This Houdini shad definitely seems to have more tail action to it than the normal super Fluke. I think again that big spade tail on this thing is giving it a bit more action. I think you can also like cut it. It's got like areas, like little dotted lines in the bait that you can like use to cut it to like make it like a speed worm Fluke style bait, where you can kind of like slim it, but we're just gonna be fishing it like a Fluke. But this one's nice because it does have that extra versatility if you want to make it into a different style of bait. Oh, okay, spot's getting a little popping right now. Another 3 anglers rolled up. Seem like some nice dudes. But yeah, definitely gonna make fishing around here a little more difficult. Kind of hard to find a spot to actually make a cast from. So I'll fish around here for as long as humanly possible and then kind of slowly make our way down that way. But yeah, those are the 2 main ways, like I keep saying, that I normally like to fish a jerkbait. It's really just like popping or twitching. The third way that I have worked a jerkbait and caught a couple of fish doing it is just working it like a topwater. Again, this thing will walk side to side, like that's kind of what it does underneath the water when you twitch it. So it'll like pop, pop, and it'll go choo, choo, cut side to side. But if you work it fast enough, you keep your rod tip up, you can actually work it on the surface or just subsurface. And again, I don't really fish a jerkbait like this or a soft plastic jerkbait like this, like super aggressive on the surface of the water, but you can get bit doing it. I just don't really have that much confidence doing it, so I don't find myself doing it too often. Oh, there's another one. There we go. Nice. On the Houdini shad. A little smaller, but still a decent fish. Hell yeah, bro. Nice. Number 2 on the Houdini shad. I like that. Little 1.25 pound, guy. Got him in the bottom of the mouth. All right, calm yourself down, sir. You're fine, bro. You're fine. Oh, he peed on me, and he kicked me in the freaking nuts. Oh, you're an asshole. You know that? You're a little ass. You're a little. I'm gonna put you back, bro. Calm down. God damn. God damn. Oh, God damn. Chill, 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 my dude. Holy shit. Fish would not calm down. Whew. All right. Not quite as big as the first one, but I'll take it. Little pounder. Wasn't quite as big as I thought he was when he was coming through the water. Later, bro. Get out of here. Go fucking terrorize some little bluegill or something. That fish was a freak. All right, this challenge is going pretty well, actually. I was kind of thinking it was going to be a little bit of a struggle, but seems like the fish are semi-bitey. Knock on steel. But we got the Zoom Super Flukes as well as the Houdini shads both knocked out here. I think it's time for us to move on to the Kalins. I don't remember what they're called, but they're the Kalin's Flukes. Kalin's 5-inch jerk minnow in the Arkansas shad color. This color looks pretty good. I have fished with these Flukes a little bit. Not very much, not like the other 2. Those other 2 Flukes I fished with for a good amount of time. But these Flukes I got when I went to that little tackle shop in Colorado. I just picked these up. They're like a little just random company. Again, Kalins, they're not super big, but I've heard of Kalins. I've used a couple of their baits before. And yeah, really just a standard Fluke. Like there isn't really anything special about it. It doesn't have the hook slot on top, but it does have one through the bottom, so that's fine, I guess. Give you a little bit more meat to put that hook in, which I don't mind. The color on this thing is pretty sweet though. Again, it's that Arkansas shad color, so very similar to the Zoom color that we were throwing, but got more of like a goldish back and then kind of like a pearly belly. Really like that. Other than that though, pretty much identical to the Zoom Fluke. Again, it's about the same size, about the same color, got the same fork tail. This one is actually made of more of like a dense plastic, so this one will probably last you a little bit longer, which I don't mind. And again, color looks pretty good, so I think we'll be able to get bit on this one. If we get bit on those last two, I think this one should be pretty cut and dry, more of the same, as they say. Okay, this Fluke doesn't seem to get as good of a side-to-side action to it, for whatever reason. I don't know if it's the density of the plastic or what, but it doesn't seem like it cuts side to side as well as the Zoom Super Fluke. By the way, that's what we're going to be kind of using as like our medium, our standard for this test is the Zoom Super Fluke, because again, it is the industry standard, and you know, it's the industry standard for a reason. It was one of the first, or it might have been the actual first fluke bait on the market, and to this day it still catches fish. But yeah, back to this bait, it doesn't really seem like it has a lot of side to side to it. I fished it both the jerking way as well as just like the popping way. Popping way had almost no side to side to it, which wasn't great. And then that jerking method that we were doing, it got a little bit more side to side to it, but wasn't great. Other than that, very similar to the Super Fluke. Not a lot of tail action to it, just kind of like a darting side to side presentation. Although again, it doesn't dart as well. Yeah, even when I twitch it, it has a tendency to kind of just like roll around. It doesn't really like twitch super well, so this one might be a challenge. Might be a little bit of a challenge to get bit. I have to just land it on one's head and hope for the best. Oh, that's creepy. The fog's rolling in across the lake. It's an odd sight. I feel like the Flying Dutchman's about to come around the corner. Try and take me down. Last spot for the evening, back where we started. See if we can at least pop one more here before the sun goes down. I really just want one on this Kalin's. I don't mind going out and throwing that little Googan dart tomorrow. This was kind of the one that I was somewhat iffy on, and while I fully recognize that it looks a whole lot better now that I have it rigged properly, I still don't have that confidence just yet. On another note, how creepy is this? The friggin' fog started rolling in a little bit ago. You guys probably heard me say something about it on the other side of the pond, but now it's like fully coming in. Alright. I was accidentally fishing real close to someone, so I'm gonna get out of here. I think that's probably my cue to leave. I've fished everywhere that I possibly can, and didn't have very much success today. Just got those two little fish. Missed a couple more on the Kalin's Fluke, but haven't hooked up on that one yet, so that's what we're going to start off with tomorrow. But yeah, I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Alright, day number 2 out here. We're heading on down to the same pond we were fishing yesterday. Conditions are completely different. We got out here literally just after noon. It's like 12:05 right now, so literally the middle of the day. But yeah, the Fluke mission continues. We are trying to catch 2 more fish at least out of here. I want to catch one on this Kalin's Fluke out of here as well as on the Googan dart. I think those 2 will definitely get bit out of here. To get bit on that big bite baits Fluke, we might actually have to go switch up to another pond, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Right now I'm going to go head on down to this side of the pond and see if we can't maybe cross paths with a couple of fish down in this back corner. Oh man, my freaking GoPro overheated, but I got one. Hell yeah, that's another decent one, dude. Oh, sorry you guys missed the hook set and all that stuff on that, but I switched spots. I moved down the bank a little bit because I tried to find somewhere that actually had some shade, because again, my GoPro is overheating. Made myself a couple of casts and got myself another one. This one came on that Kalin's. I forget what they call that, but that little Kalin's Fluke. That guy fell for it. Nice healthy little 2-pounder or so. Second like 2-pounder or so of the video. I don't even know what I'm saying right now. I'm so hot, and that just took me by so much surprise. We're gonna give this guy a little bit of a toss. Later, homie. I think he made it through the grass out there. Hell yeah. Well, again, sorry I didn't have that hook set on camera for you guys. My GoPro is overheating like nobody's business. It's freaking hot out here. It's like 92 degrees. And that's why I moved down here, because as you guys can tell, there's actually some shade over here. This is like one of the only spots on the pond that you can actually find some shade at. And yeah, I figured I'd come on over here, let my GoPro kind of cool itself off a little bit, let me cool myself off a little bit. And yeah, I think that was like my first or second cast in this little area. Got one on the little Kalin's Fluke. But the last like normal size bait that we're going to be throwing around are these Googan bait darts. They're the 5-inch size, the natural color, which is kind of like a Arkansas shad. A lot of these colors that we're throwing today are very similar. That's just because it's kind of the type of color that I like to throw when I'm throwing a Fluke. It's something that just kind of imitates anything. Could be a bluegill, could be a shad, could be any sort of bait fish, crappie, even a perch. This kind of looks like a perch a little bit. Doesn't really have the lines to it, but bass aren't super smart. They don't really know what they're eating. They're just like, oh, that looks like food. I'm gonna put it in my mouth. But yeah, that's that natural color. The one main difference that you can see on these baits is that the tail on these is actually inverted. So most Flukes have like a horizontal tail. This one's actually got a vertical tail. Supposedly that makes it look a little bit more lifelike. I don't really think the bass notice all that much. This is also the first bait that I have never thrown before today's video. I've thrown all those other baits at least a little bit. Like I said, I threw that Kalin's a little bit while I was in Colorado, as well as here in New York before I left for Massachusetts. That Houdini shad I've thrown a little bit, although I haven't really thrown it in a good long bit. And then obviously the Zoom Super Fluke I've thrown the absolute snot out of. But this little Googan bait's dart I have not thrown yet. So we're gonna give this thing a shot today. See if we can't get bit here real quick. That would be super nice. We could just get, oh my God, no way. Yeah, I did actually just get popped. He's got it. Oh, he came out of his mouth. No way. First cast on the dart. Okay. Well, that was interesting. Damn. Okay, well. May have found ourselves a little wad of fish over here. I was not expecting to get bit on the dart that quick. That was... Okay, fair enough. I have noticed that you can actually throw this bait a little bit further as well. It does seem to have a little bit more weight to it. So if you're trying to bomb a Fluke a little bit further, this one's a pretty solid option for that specific purpose. Other than that though, as far as I can tell, it's kind of just your average Fluke. Oh, I got him. He's a little tiny guy, but I got him, I think. Yes! 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 Let's go! Jesus Christ, that's so funny. Look at the size of this little dude. He's like the size of the Fluke. Look at that. What are you thinking, bro? Oh my God, that's so funny. Like a 7-inch largemouth on the 5-inch Fluke. I have no words. Hey, I didn't put a size limit on today's challenge, so that counts as a fish. Oh my God, look, he sits in my hand. What are you doing, dude? All right, I'll let you go. Have a good one, little squirt. Missed probably 2 decent fish on the old Googan baits dart, and then the one that we hooked was so small, just such a tiny fish. You know what? No, it was a great size fish, an awesome size fish. Definitely above average, and yeah, would definitely satisfy. God damn, I almost feel bad counting that fish in today's challenge, but I think we're gonna do it. Again, didn't set a size limit, so we're just gonna consider that a dub and move on. I can guarantee you the fish that we catch on this thing, if we catch one on it today. And you know what? No, when we catch one on it today, the fish that we catch on this is not going to be as small as that last one. I'm going to just do myself a favor and retie real fast, and then we're going to put on old big Fluke. Alright, so I just looked it up, and these are called the Big Bite Baits Jointed Jerk Minnow. They make these things in 2 different sizes, neither of which seem to be super applicable for anything really, but they have a 3 3/4 inch size, which is like really tiny. Not quite small enough that you want to use it as a drop shot bait, but like too small to use as a Fluke, so maybe use it as like a chatterbait trailer or something like that. And then of course they make it in this, which is the 7-inch. I'm using a like 3 or 4/0 hook or something like that, so definitely a little bit small of a hook to be using for this thing, but yeah, got 7 inches of absolute gigantic Fluke for these fish to try and chow down on. Little time check for you guys. It is 1:15, so been here about 1 hour and 15 minutes. Caught 2 fish, which I can't really complain about. And all the bites have really been around this little area right here. So we're gonna make some casts around here with the old big fluke. Then I think I might head home for a little bit, try and fill out some job applications, and then we might actually head to another pond later tonight with this big fluke and see if we can't get bit on it. My hopes are not high to get bit on it out here, and I think that even if I do get bit on it, hooking up on it is going to be a whole big issue. Oh my god, it is so freaking hot out right now, folks. So it's about 1:45 right now, but I just decided to get off the water. My GoPro kept overheating. I wasn't really getting any clips for you guys. As you all saw, you guys missed that first hook set on that first fish that I caught. Or I guess it was both the third and the first fish. Third fish for the video, first fish of the day. But yeah, I'm gonna run home for a little bit, try and get a couple of things done, and then we're gonna go head on out here later in the afternoon and see if we can't maybe catch a couple of fish at a different spot. Or I guess we really only need one fish for this challenge. We just need one more fish on that giant fluke. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. So yeah, I'm gonna start heading home, but I'll see you guys in a little bit. All right. I was looking a little more overgrown than the last time I was here. And the water level's looking down a bit. But there also seems to be less scum on the surface of the water, which I don't mind. Okay. We've made it. Ooh, just spooked something off the back right there. Okay, cool. Give this spot a shot. I'm gonna give it one more try with this big old fluke, and if not, then I think we'll just kind of call it on this challenge video. Consider it a quote-unquote fail, although we've caught fish on all the normal size flukes, so I wouldn't necessarily consider it a fail. But yeah, before we fully call it in for this video, we're gonna make some casts around here. Got a couple hours until the sun goes down, and we're gonna see if we can get lucky. We're just looking for one on this big monster fluke. Doesn't need to be a big one, although it probably will be a decent sized fish, just because I can't imagine a little fish is gonna want to eat this Flukezilla, as I called it before. But I'm alright with any size fish. Doesn't need to be an absolute giant. Just want one.
I got one. Yes. Oh, stay on there. Oh, that's a nice fish. On the Flukezilla, dude. Finally. God damn. Stay on there, sister. Stay on there. Stay on there. Oh, that's actually a pretty nice one. Hell yeah. Way out there. Stay on there, Brody. Stay on there. Yes. Hell yeah, dude. We freaking did it. I actually got one on the Flukezilla. Who'd have thunk? Alright. Mean fish. Hell yeah, bro. Not very big, to be perfectly honest with you. But I'll take that on that 7-inch fluke down the gullet. Love it. There we go. Nice little fish. The last fish for the challenge. And perfect timing, too. We're starting to run out of daylight out here. I was about ready to call it anyway, so perfect little ending to today's challenge. Later, buddy. Appreciate you. Have a good one. Yes! Finally got one on that Flukezilla. Thing's been bit like 3 or 4 times at least. Probably more than that if I'm being honest. But had a bunch of bites on this thing. Just didn't really get one that ever could get the hook. I think a lot of these fish are probably right around the same size as that last one. Or they're like 1.5 pounds. And kind of takes them a little while to actually get it in their mouth. But hell yeah, that was the last bait that we had to get checked off the list, so I'm gonna call it right here. Little time check for you guys. It is 7:20. Still got about a 20-minute walk to get back to my car, and then I'm gonna drive back to my place and give you guys some final thoughts and a couple of little tips that I forgot to mention throughout the video. But yeah, we're gonna head on out of here, and I will meet you guys back at my place.
Alright folks, just got back from the pond today. It was an absolute grinder out there. I don't know what the deal was. I think the fish are just kind of being weird. Again, it was like 90 degrees the whole day, and I think I decided to go fishing at one of the worst times this morning, or I guess this afternoon. But yeah, I know this is kind of like a comparison style video. Again, we were kind of comparing all the flukes to the Zoom Super Fluke. Out of all the baits, if I had to pick one, I'd probably go with these Houdini shads. I really like the action on these things, and I really like the versatility of them as well. You can kind of cut that tail up, make it into like a little bit of a swimming worm style fluke or something like that. To be honest, I was also pretty impressed with these little 5-inch darts from the Googan baits. Again, I've never thrown them before today's video, but we got bit like first or second cast with this thing. I don't know if I just happened to land right on top of a fish's head right there, but got bit super quick on these things, so that never hurts the confidence level. And the one bait that I think I was most disappointed about was this big bite baits. I don't know what the deal was. I didn't really like the action on them. They're also absolutely massive. Like, they either come in like a super big size or a super tiny size. If they made somewhere in the middle, it might be a really solid bait. But since they only make a super small size or a super big size, it's just not super well made, not super versatile in my opinion. And overall, the action on them wasn't great. I'm not going to give it any points off for like the terrible hookup ratio, because again, I was using like a 4-aught hook on like a 7-inch bait, so that was definitely my bad. I definitely should have gotten some bigger hooks somewhere along the line to throw those things on. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see some more content from me. And you guys will definitely be seeing all these baits on the channel in the future. Mostly because these are like 5 of the last 6 packs of flukes that I have, so I don't really have any other flukes to throw. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for me. I'll check them and wreck them, and I'll catch you in the next one. I'm out. Peace.